gentlemen of the 118 scale, 3.75 inch, 4-inch modern action figure community, I am back again with another video. And today, this video I bring to you will be in reference to Budo, the Samurai Warrior. The original Budo figure was released in 1988 and never actually made any cartoon appearances, but I believe he was cast in the Marvel Comics version of G.I. Joe issue number 82. And arguably one of my favorite figures from back in that day. And I don't think he got enough recognition. You know, there was a lot of love for the ninja figures, but there was no love for a samurai warrior. And albeit arguably one of the better figures that come out that year. But the one we're going to discuss today is the action figure subscription service version of Budo, which is Series 7, Figure 7. And he was an interesting remake. Over the years, we got quite a few different Budo figures. And the first, which was released in 1988, it was very nicely done how they incorporated a samurai warrior into a military rank. And it was done where he had like solid brown, and you're going to see all these figures here. You're going to see all these versions here. But he was a solid brown with the gray sleeves, and he had brown combat boots and green pants. Now, in about 2008, the Retaliation line released a Budo figure, which was a very nicely done. I mean, it was a very nice samurai figure. However, it was not Budo. He had this very subdued looking face. He had a full goatee, and just the garb of the samurai warrior uniform that he wore was awesome. It was really cool, but he was not Budo. So people such as myself got very excited when we realized that the figure subscription service would be releasing another version of Budo, one which is a little closer to the original that we came to love so much. Now, I ran many missions with Budo, and in my era of owning him as a kid, he was the top dog. He was the ninja destroyer. You know, keep in mind that a samurai warrior is a direct enemy of a ninja. So I couldn't see him and Snake Eyes getting along too well. And I couldn't see, and he has more of an axe to grind with Storm Shadow than Snake Eyes would, because, you know, they're sworn enemies. They just their way of lives collide and don't work well together. So with that being said, moving right along, this is his file card. You can pause and read that, but it says that his father was an orthodontist, and his grandfather was a farmer in Fresno. It also says here that on his 18th birthday, he was given the family swords and a haiku written by his ancestors. In quote, "The great sword unsheathed, glitters brightly in the dark, unseen and at rest." Now, that written in Japanese would make a really cool tattoo. Not telling you guys to go out and do anything, but that would be an awesome tattoo. So with that being said, let's look at Budo here. First off, he comes with his action figure stand, as many of the figures did at that time. He has pretty much a subdued samurai look. And this figure, his helmet was glued on. And I was very disappointed by that, but I don't know how it just popped off. So my helmet actually comes off. And if you pick this figure up in in the future, his helmet's going to be glued off, but it's going to be glued on, but it will come off. I guess, I was just trying to I was like, man, I can't believe this thing is glued on. And it just happened to pop off as I was looking at it. He also came with his family swords, which are very nicely done. Let's look at the longer of the two. Red handle, nice little shining silver paint app on that, and then like a little small rope or something. I don't know what that is. And then this one is a smaller version of that. I forgot what these are called, but you get my drift. Right, drop that. And he also came with 2 sai. That's what you get there. They're very nicely done. Also in silver paint apps with black handles. Awesome. Now let's look at the Budo figure. He has this cloth here that he can mount his swords. And he also has this gray belt. And it says that Budo is a hand-to-hand combat instructor who still trains soldiers in the way of the Japanese martial art. He also has a 5th degree black belt in Aikido, and that is the art of the live blade. And that just goes to show you that he's a beast with the swords. So if you ain't 100%, don't come at him with your swords out, because he'll probably take you down. But anyway, moving right along, this is his helmet. When it came off, it actually took some of the paint off of his head. I had to redo the paint, but I'm actually happy that it came off. This is what it looks like. It's very nicely done. It looks similar to the helmet he had in the 80s, in the 88 release, but this one is a little, it's a little, how do I say, a little more decorated. So, there you have it. So let's look a little more at the figure. One thing I noticed, the original figure in the 80s had a backpack where he was able to store his swords. And this one does not have a backpack. He also does not have a peg hole for a backpack. So that's kind of a disappointing part of the figure. Another thing, this is his head sculpt. I really like the head sculpt because it's very close to what he looked like, back in those days. And I don't know where they got this head sculpt from, because a lot of the head sculpts are reused, but this one doesn't look like it was ever used before in any other figure. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen it before. And one thing that I don't like about this figure is that they went with these like ninja feet. And it's cool. I like the way he's done, but I like more the 80s version where he had the combat boots, because he was very military looking, but he looked traditional. Like, even though he was in the military, he still maintained his traditional style. So I think he was a really cool figure. And I wonder if there was difficulty fitting him in. Like, why did they create this character? In all intents and purposes, he was probably, they probably didn't know where to use him, or how to use him, or who to voice him, or what type of situations he would come in, because of course you had the 2 arch enemies of Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. But maybe down the line, once Slice and Dice got introduced, maybe he could have came in on that and been just a thorn in those 2 guys' side. Because I can, Slice and Dice, those guys were amazing. I really love those characters too, but they never really had an arch enemy. But in this day and age, I think if I look at it now, and I wanted to pair them up against somebody, I would pick Kamakura and Nunchuck, and that would be my great uh, matchup. But ultimately, so this is pretty much the Budo Samurai Warrior figure. But moving right along, I think this figure I'm going to give a C plus, due to the nostalgia of the figure. I think he could have been done better in his, like in his modern form. Give him some combat boots and the BDU camouflage slacks and or trousers rather, and just keep him military because in this form he does not have really a place other than in the ninja realm, which the ninjas seem to not even really have a place anymore. If you look at Snake Eyes is very he wears combat garb. He's dipped out as like some type of a night ops type of guy. He doesn't look anything like a ninja. But anyway, with that being said, that's the grade I'm giving him. And if you guys are out there wanting to get your hands on this, I know try to get him through private seller. See if he's out there like that. But I know he can be in the hundreds or upwards of $100+ on eBay. So if that's something you're willing to do, then by all means, he's a cool character for your collection. And just like I always say, how this story goes. These figures have gotten very expensive. So with that being said, I'm out. I got some things to do today, so I'm going to go run some errands. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to link them down below. Again, thank you all very much for subscribing to my videos and watching my videos. I've gotten so many cool comments from you guys that I appreciate that. That's a lot. That is a lot just to, come and hang out with me. So with that being said, y'all have a good week. And, I'll see you on the next one. All right. Peace.